Hey guys, welcome to the Business of Good Live. We have a really amazing segment for you today. It's a funny segment because we were supposed to be on earlier, and it was snowing out, and people were saying, well, maybe we should cancel because we've got like 10 inches of snow here on the ground in New York. And Zane Wildman, our guest today, from Texas.
What's up, everybody?
He was like, a couple flicks, come on, let's do this.
Let's go.
He's like, I'm here, let's go. So we are live. Sorry we're a little late today, but definitely well worth it. Zane, thank you so much for coming with us today. So Zane's company, Ubuntu, I'm pronouncing that right?
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm so excited to talk about this company today. If you don't know the company, you should. When I wrote The Business of Good, a big chunk of the book is about how nonprofits are being disrupted and changed today by social entrepreneurs. You can probably hear the truck going past me right now. That's a snowplow going past us on 21st Street. Really, we did get a lot of snow here today. Zane didn't care.
Yeah, my flight got canceled. I'm in New York for a while.
But so we did in the book. I wrote a lot about nonprofits and about how the way nonprofits have been structured since 1630, since John Winthrop himself sailed across to Massachusetts Bay Colony, has basically been the same. And over the last few years, we've seen social entrepreneurs come onto the scene, and they've presented an entirely different way to look at the nonprofit space in a way that allows you to create much more change, be much more dynamic, and impact the lives of more people than ever before, and that's what Zane's done. But before we get to all of this, you've got a fascinating background because you're a minister. You spent a year in Kenya.
Yeah.
Before we get into the products and the company, tell us a little about yourself and where this all started from.
Well, I'm a Texan.
He's a Cowboys fan too. We didn't get into the fact.
Yeah, I didn't really care too much about the game the other night. But essentially, man, like the way this all got started, bought a one-way ticket to Africa. I didn't think I told you that before.
Yeah.
But I was basically University of Kansas, so I'm also a Jayhawk. But I was my senior year of college, waiting this whole thing happened. It was my senior year of college, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I was supposed to go to medical school. The reason I was saying I wanted to go to medical school was because I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But I had never actually helped anybody. It was one of those things I can remember, like sophomore year of college, junior year of college, applying to the United Way, and actually getting down there doing it, and then when it came time to actually going and volunteering, never did. Sports took priority. Right. I was in a fraternity, partying took a priority, girlfriend took a priority. It was just one of those things where I was like, this is why I say I'm wanting to go to medical school, is to help people. But I've never actually spent any time helping anyone. And so what would that feel like if I committed myself? So it was actually 3 questions that just I couldn't get them out of my head. First one was, what would it feel like over a committed period of time just to help people? Would I be a fraud? Would I not like it? Or would I love it? Second question was, what do I believe in? I grew up in Texas, so I was familiar with Christianity, but I grew up in a divided household. Parents divorced young. Mm-hmm. One family was very much, passionate about Christianity. The other side was not. It was more about the intellect and success driven. And so I was like, what do I believe in? And then the third question that really came out of nowhere was, who would I be if you dropped me in the middle of nowhere?
That's a good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's I didn't know, I still don't know where that question necessarily came from, but it was just am I who I am because I'm at the University of Kansas, because of the friends I have around me, because of the way I was brought up, because of family expectations, societal expectations? And so those 3 questions, pushed me to buy a one-way ticket to Africa. Didn't really care where I went. I never, had any.
It's a big continent.
It's a huge
continent. Countries. How did you pick eventually getting to Kenya?
I really didn't pick it. It picked me. This was right when the internet was starting, so I didn't even actually have a Hotmail account. A buddy, David of mine, ended up getting me a Hotmail account, but I didn't have an email account at that time. And I literally sent off in mailers over 30 to 30 different organizations. Where could I go? Mm-hmm. And I applied to 30, boiled it down to Peace Corps and this other one called Africa Inland Mission. They accepted me, and they ended up saying we needed someone. French was my minor, so they needed someone to go and teach at an international boarding school, high school French, and work as a med tech at the local hospital. And so Kenya kind of chose me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're in Kenya, so you're spending a year there. You obviously you see Kibera, you see all of the good and the bad.
Yeah,
that's
the good,
happening
bad,
in
yeah.
Africa,
Yeah.
the ugly. And so what do you take away from that experience?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, it just like what I say in other conversations I've had, is that I was a middle class kid from Texas who never was really for want, and all my needs were taken care of. And here I am in the middle of Africa. I'd never seen poverty. I'd gone and like worked at a homeless shelter or something here or there, but here I am every day waking up in it. And so what I always say is it rocked me completely to my core. And I was surrounded by it. It was my day-to-day life. And I remember like around month 7 that I wasn't thinking anymore like, I'm in Africa. It was like, this is my life. These are my friends. And it was really this one friendship. Our co-founder, Jeremiah Kuria, who was running an orphanage for 140 kids. He was a local pastor, earning about $50 a month, doing 2 full-time jobs.
Wow.
And there's something about him. You meet certain people in your life, and it just like it clicks. Yeah. And I met Jeremiah, and it's funny if he were here, he'd be like, it didn't click for me. It was just like, I just thought you were another foreigner who would come in here who had not these big ideas, but it didn't really click for him. There's something about him for me, and then it developed in this amazing friendship. And so I lived at a town called Kajabi. It was about 8,000 feet. And my Mahiu, which is where we do all of our work now, which is where Jeremiah lived, he was 2,000 feet below us. And so I would go every Thursday, rent out a truck from the mission where I was living, drive down and have lunch with Jeremiah every Thursday. We did that for over a year. And it was really, being exposed to that poverty, being in those conditions, like I had said, but then having this relationship. But then having this friendship. Because then I started seeing it not from my perspective, I started seeing it from someone who was local and someone who was living in it, and it was his life. And he had this insane compassion, and the orphanage that he worked in, and everything that we would talk about was opportunities that empower. These people are just as hungry, just as eager to be great parents, to have great businesses as we do here in the West. They just lack the opportunities to be empowered to do so.
And that obviously leads to the company. But before we get to that, we're going to be giving out some of the products here today, as well as a signed copy of The Business of Good. We're going to ask you if you can share this interview to your friends on Facebook. So if you share the interview, Jeffrey, who's our director today, he'll be watching that, and we'll pick someone at the end of the program today to receive some amazing products, which we're going to get into next, and also a signed copy of The Business of Good. So share this along to your social network.
And read the book.
And read the book. People still read books. So for those who do,
I just bought it.
He literally just bought it while we were talking beforehand. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'll have to sign it next
all
time.
All my staff that are watching, they know it.
You guys gotta all buy it now. So let's go. All those at the company now. Let's go.
Yeah.
So all right. So tell me about the launch of Ubuntu Made, and you've had some amazing things come recently. But let's start at the beginning, where it first launched.
So the product line.
Right.
So the product line started, reach here. Product line first started
right here.
Is a reusable canvas coffee sleeve. So, like the cardboard sleeve that you get at Starbucks or Stumptown, wherever you get your coffee. This was the first product that we actually started making. Right.
And these are really interesting because on each tag we have the name of who made it.
Yep.
And also we are, and then it's a different.
Yeah. So Jeff, can you see that there, buddy? Coming in. So Ubuntu actually means I am because we are. So getting back to Jeremiah's and my story,
right.
Like I recognize a greater value of myself through Jeremiah and Jeremiah through me, right? And it's just this Ubuntu me, it's just the understanding that we're all connected. And so that's our why of our company is connection. Getting people here, everyone's looking like good, right?
Yeah.
People want to live what I say is like my background as a priest, what is good and beautiful and true. We want to be a part of what is good and beautiful and true in the world. And so what this does is it lets people, these products, we want it to be as transparent of an experience as possible for the customers to connect to the people who make it. And so that, that being connection, we were like, how do we do that on the product? And so we thought, Ubuntu, since it translates I am because we are, instead of just signing the product, we have, I am Miriam. So Miriam, who's awesome, she's been working with us for years. So I am Miriam, signed it, and then we are, and then every artist gets to choose their own we are statement. So we are unique as Miriam's.
And here's Ruth, who says we are powerful. And these, the folks that you're employing, you're also changing their lives because of you're paying them full time,
yep.
and they get health benefits that they would never otherwise get, or it's very hard to come by.
Yep.
Just talk about that for a minute and the importance of that to the company.
So that was one of the things early on that we were really committed to was knowing that people lack opportunities to be empowered. So most companies like this, so what I was telling Jason earlier on, it's like if Jason can kill it and he's making these yellow love bracelets and I'm making the red ones and he's doing it way faster than I am, and I'm paying you per product.
Right.
Well, maybe the bracelets are hot right now, so you're getting paid way more than I am. I'm getting paid a decent wage because people are still buying them, but I'm slower beating than you are. But then what happens when these go out of style, right? And it's like that income ends for you. So essentially, even though you're a faster beater than I am, we're both still stuck in the cycle of poverty. And so Jeremiah and I, we were talking about starting this. I was like, we've got to take a really, if we're really about serving people and making a difference, we've got to get innovative in breaking out of the cycle of poverty. And the way anyone does that, no matter where you live in the world, is you have consistent income, something you can depend on, and start providing for yourself and for your family. And so we're like, okay, we got to commit to a full-time salary. It almost broke us as a company,
sure.
Because we had that desire before there was ever a demand, but we just stayed true to it. And because of that, we have women who have been working with us for over a decade. Stories of 100% of all of our makers, 100% of them. If anyone's ever been to Africa, school fees is like the biggest headache for families. Uniforms. 100% of our staff send their kids. Not just a primary school, but it's a secondary school. 100% of our staff have health insurance, which is unheard of. I think nationally it's less than 10% of people living in Kenya have health insurance. And so that's not just health insurance for our makers, that's also health insurance for their entire family. And so what that does is you have some stability in your life. You can start taking ownership of your life instead of a culture, I call it a culture of interdependence. Yeah. Where we're working with one another versus a culture of dependence.
And by the way, this would take me about 5 months to beat, and I would spell it wrong. Much better.
I tried to beat it myself. And I was
can't do it.
No, I can't do it.
No, you can see there's real skill and craftsmanship that goes now. But here's what I find interesting, and I want to get into. You're selling products, and we're going to get to some of the other products.
Yeah.
There's a whole product line you have. But here's the thing, and for the entrepreneurs out there watching us right now, I want you to pay close attention to this. This is really important. The company is a nonprofit.
We are 501c3 nonprofit, and then a registered nonprofit in Africa as well.
So just before we get into the details on that, just understand this idea, this hybrid model where a nonprofit has a product line that they're selling that then funds the social good that you do, which we haven't even got into yet. We're going to get to that next. That's a very new concept. Most nonprofits, their vehicle is pure fundraising. 100% on the treadmill. That's not your model here. I wonder if you get any resistance to that, or curious comments about the model, or how it's worked for you.
Yeah, people are, I would say, envious of the model or want to know how they can start. It's like, oh man, you make all this stuff, and it's great. It's insanely hard. And so it's one of those things where we started 100% donated revenue. We had no idea, I have no background in fashion, and
you look very fashionable.
Thank you. But it was one of those things where, getting back to our core purpose, creating opportunities that empower. And so we started our first program, where it was like an HIV/AIDS program. We had, did some environmental work, a lot of tree planting. Wangari Maathai, Nobel Peace Prize winner in Kenya in 2004. She was really influential on my life. But then we had a school for children with special needs. And, the people living with special needs in parts of the world, they're the most marginalized. And we always said we were going to be committed to the least of these, the people who are on, the margins of the margins. And so we started a school. Most of the people living with disabilities aren't even registered in their country. And so we're like, okay, we don't know really what this is going to look like, but we're committed, we're going to figure it out. And so then the recession hit in 2007, and our donated revenue, which is our only revenue stream.
For like every nonprofit too, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
live and dime by the fundraiser
absolutely.
And donors. But the issue was people were hurting financially. And so we saw our donations going down. And I was like, we got to figure something out. At this time, I was living in California. I was working as a full-time Episcopal priest. So it wasn't like we had a big burn rate. We didn't have we had 0 staff U.S. side. It was all 100% in Kenya at that time. And so I went to Kenya and met with the kind of our staff and brought in the families and started talking to some of the moms of these kids that were in our school. I was like, we got to figure something out. We may have to close down the school. And they said, well, we'd love to have a job where you could maybe pay us a living and we could earn revenue, we could offset the costs of the school. I was like, fantastic, it's an amazing idea. What do you want to do? And they said, we want to sew. I was like, well, who the hell here knows how to sew? And no one knew how to sew.
Like that scene out of Three Amigos. Sewing and they beat up pop-ups, they can sew.
They can sew. Whole town.
I know.
Whole town can sew.
A lot of the younger people watching may not have any idea what we're talking about, but if you haven't seen Three Amigos, go watch the scene.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, so you know what you want to do. We're here to serve you. How are we going to figure out how to teach you how to sew?
Right.
And it was, Ubuntu, like, we had the vision, we had the idea, but it's all these insanely amazing people who have come into the company at the right time. And at that time was this woman, Denise Diaz, who was connected to one of our board members, this guy Bill Hargrove, who is a professor at Kansas State University. She just happened to be coming on a team with Bill. She happened to be the chairwoman of the American Sewing Guild, which is a thing.
Wow.
It's a thing. It's 20,000 members. And the next thing I know, we had teams for the next 3 years of men and women with the American Sewing Guild coming to Kenya, teaching our women how to sew. And so here we were, committed to paying their salaries. Now we had like a double burn because we had our school plus making these products. I was trying to figure out a way to create a market. We had probably earned, I think our biggest year of earned revenue at that point was maybe like $2,000 to $3,000. And then that's when things really changed. I moved to Austin, went full-time with Ubuntu, and I was like, who's the most ideal partner? Who shares our values? It's like, good, man, Whole Foods Market. Right. And so start going into Whole Foods Market, go to the customer service desk, go there like every freaking week for weeks, months, and no one's calling me back. And this is a key thing for entrepreneurs out there, man. Like, I can't speak enough about persistence. Like, drive, persistence, whatever positive mantras you have to tell yourself, prayers, whatever it is, you got to do it.
But you took it to a whole new level with your persistence.
I did.
So many people may not know this story. Zane delivered cupcakes to get his Whole Foods contract.
That's exactly how it ended up.
He pretended to be a cupcake delivery man.
Yeah, so what ended up happening is after multiple attempts of no one calling me back or emailing me back, I went back up to the customer service desk. We had built this friendship, me and the customer service guy. He was like, dude, Zane, I'm so sorry. Like, no one has called you back or emailed you. It's been freaking months. I'm like, man, nobody. And he said, okay, we started this foundation not too long ago. Here's this woman's name. Here's her email address. Email her. They have more alignment than the company. Right. The foundation side. So I had no idea about the foundation, but I started emailing her. Blowing her up, and she doesn't write me back. Finally, she does, and she's like, Zane, I'm so sorry. We've just been super swamped. We have a board meeting, we've been prepping for starting tomorrow, but maybe in the next couple of weeks we could get together. I'm like, boom, that's it. Board meeting.
There's the moment.
Yeah, there's the moment. So
and what do you need at every board meeting?
Cupcakes. So I get online, go to the foundation site, find out how many board members they have, And this was like right when the food truck craze was hitting Austin, and there was this cupcake place. It was actually the first food truck on South Congress. So went there, got 2 dozen cupcakes from Hey Cupcake, put them in our Ubuntu bags that we had at that time, put in our brochures, and I pretended to be a cupcake delivery guy.
And it worked.
And it worked. I got the meeting at Whole Foods. They didn't give a shit about my bags, but they were interested in the fact that we had been committed to this community in Kenya, and that they are committed to taking their team members, they call their employees team members at Whole Foods, which I love. They take their team members to the countries where they source products, and they were looking for a partner to take them to Africa. And that was it. We took the first team of employees from Whole Planet Foundation with Whole Foods, and they met the women who were there. They saw what we were doing. I'll never forget. He's become a mentor of mine, David Lannon, who's the executive vice president of Whole Foods. At night, we would do highs and lows. So you've had this incredible experience in Africa all day. What's your high? What's your low? And then the last night that the team was there, we do so what? And so it's like, so what? You've had all these highs, You've had all these lows, so what? So we would rotate on who wanted to lead highs and lows every night, and David did that night. And his so what was, I'll never forget, he was like, Ubuntu reminds me so much of when Whole Foods started out. Your commitment to what is good, your commitment to the customer, to your employees. Companies like Ubuntu need to be a part of the fabric of Whole Foods Market. And I remember going to Jeremiah, I'm like, if this dude's for real, things are going to change.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, we went from $2,000 in earned revenue, we got our donated revenue, we had this little bitty bucket, sippy cup of earned revenue. And the next thing I know, we caught a whale. And that's what I call it with Whole Foods. We caught this whale with Whole Foods. These coffee sleeves got into all 400, it's global distribution. We went through Allegro, which is Whole Foods coffee company. And so our coffee sleeves can be found at every coffee counter at Whole Foods Market.
Just like that.
It's
a great story of persistence. By the way, before I forget, if you guys have questions, shoot them over to us, and we'll read some of the good ones that you have out during the segment. So definitely feel free to chime in with questions that you've got for Zane. So once you're in Whole Foods, it's not just the sleeves now. Now we're talking about, tell me about the next sort of step here and the coffee.
Oh yeah, so as we built the relationship, with Allegro Coffee, because our coffee sleeves were going through Allegro, based in Colorado, and then from Colorado they go to every Whole Foods Market. And so as more and more teams, we've hosted, just shy of 100 employees at this point have come on teams with us in Kenya. But we were like 1 year in with taking their team members with us, and they're starting to get the vision of what we're all about. And our vision is really creating opportunities that empower. We've seen that the most empowering thing you can provide these communities is a job. Not just a job, but a meaningful job. And so that's when we were talking about, what's the next way that we can create more jobs other than just the products? And we are on the major trade route of East Africa. So all these tourists who are coming through, we own 11 acres of land, we have our factory, but what's going to get them to stop? And so start talking with Allegro, and they're like, Jose, we are a coffee company, and tourists love coffee. And I'm like, man, that's a great idea. And so that became the next project that we did with Whole Foods. They actually literally came with their team members and built the first espresso cafe in the Rift Valley.
Wow, and it's not a Starbucks.
And it's not Starbucks. It's an Allegro Whole Foods sponsored coffee shop.
Wow.
And it was wild, man. And so Allegro then had the idea, they're like, what's a way that we can help raise money for this?
Yeah.
Knowing that we're a nonprofit and the products are selling well, but not enough to build a whole, cafe. And so they had the idea of doing a Cafe Ubuntu branded coffee, and percentage of sales of every bag would go to helping build the cafe. And that was it. And so we released the coffee. Coffee sales were great. Team members came over, built the cafe by hand. And the coffee was such a success, they've kept it. And so we have actually next month, you'll start to see the newly branded Cafe Ubuntu coffee. It'll be a nice blue bag. It has an image of the cafe in the back, tells a story.
So this is coming March 1st?
March 1st.
So there's a lot happening in the company on March 1st.
Yeah,
Can you just
that's right.
tell our viewers
So you can
there's
see
a lot of cool stuff happening.
A lot of cool stuff. We've got this whole lineup that you can see right here, our spring line of love bracelets that we originally designed through a collaboration with our partners at a company called The Supply Change. Chrissy Lamb came and worked with us on that, and we've since taken that and we've got a whole new line coming this spring. And then I'm really excited about these guys. This may look really good on you, Jason, the pink.
It's my color.
But this is a well-known cloth in parts of Africa called Kanga cloth. So we're going to release bandanas, and each bandana, this cloth, they only release certain patterns every week, and once they're out, they're out.
That's gone.
They never release them again. And so on each bandana, we have the Ubuntu branded blue and orange beaded mark that's also on our bags and our foldovers. And then each one is numbered, so you can see on here, this is number 14. And so there'll only be, 30 number 14s, and once they're out, they're out. And so these will be released on March 1st. And then we've got our new dog collars.
Check these out.
New dog collars that our Maasai beaters have made that also make the bracelets. And then our bags, which are back here, and I'll pull our portfolio here.
Who makes the bags?
It's the same, the moms.
The moms.
The moms, same women who make the coffee sleeves. So this is a portfolio. So I've been using a green one, which I'm going to get up here and show you. So I've been supporting this guy for the last couple of months, which I love. And, keep my laptop in here.
You got the pop of color inside.
Got my pop of color. Boom. And then this one has the white beading. Also has the tags with the I am, we are statement on the back. And then we've got our bags. So
let's take a look. So these are canvas.
This is canvas.
Really durable.
Yeah, we've never made a bag quite as sturdy as this. One of our partners, amazing partner, Zazzle, West Coast company based out of San Francisco. So they came on board with us last year to kind of take the product line to the next level. And so we worked with leather, we worked with canvas, and we did a green canvas bag similar to this guy last year. And we had such success with it, we were like, let's keep this in the regular lineup. Right. And so this is all made from 100% East African cotton canvas, made by our moms. And then each product has a beaded tab, which is blue and orange tab that the Maasai do. So we incorporate the Maasai and our moms in our factory in every product.
And the Maasai, for those who don't know, are legendary warriors too.
Yeah.
Which Zane spent time with them. They didn't kill a tiger with them.
No, not tigers, lions.
Lions! Didn't kill a lion. That's what they're known for.
That's what they're known for, the jumping and the lions.
What does this retail for?
This retails for about $80.
$80.
Yeah.
So what happens is, so just the micro example is, so someone buys that, you get funds in, and then that money gets allocated towards the two areas where you work.
Right. So the unique thing about Ubuntu, other than our commitment to the makers, the full-time salaries, the healthcare benefits, is that we basically have two arms of the company.
Right.
So we have our enterprise arm, which is the product line and the coffee, and then we have what we call our foundation arm, which my buddy Jeremiah runs on that side, and that's commitment to pediatric health and education. So we have our special needs school, and then we have our health program that we do in partnership with Dell Children's Hospital.
Okay.
And so funds, basically you have, with those two arms, you also have the double revenue stream.
Right.
So you got the donated funds coming in, and you have the earned revenue.
What's the percent breakdown, like in terms of donation versus revenue?
Last year was about 60% earned,
60%
and
earned.
40% donated.
One way to look at that for the people thinking about this sort of model is that 60% less fundraising you have to do, and you're putting a product out there that's helping to build a brand.
Well, on the big thing, building a brand, you're giving more access points for people to get involved.
Right.
But your purpose is also tied into what you're making.
Absolutely.
Which is huge, right?
Totally. I mean, it makes a big difference. And the last area I wanted to talk about is jobs. And we talked a little about the Super Bowl, jokingly earlier. But I was just talking to a guy I know on Beekman Place a few days before the Super Bowl, and he said, "Oh, well, when the Patriots lose, which they didn't. But he said when the Patriots lose, all the T-shirts get dumped in Africa. This really happened. So the story goes. So this year, the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl champion T-shirts.
We're seeing Atlanta Falcon T-shirts all over the place in Kenya.
Well, so the NFL stopped doing that.
Yeah.
So they were doing it year after year after year, and so they thought that it was this sort of good thing to do because Africa needs free T-shirts.
Right.
And so what happens is they would take the losing team's T-shirts, dump them in a local market, kill the local textile industry.
Yeah, literally the textile industry in parts of Africa, including Kenya, have suffered terribly for things like that. Not just Super Bowl, but just people dumping their old shit.
Right.
To Africa, thinking they'll want it, as opposed to no. Look at what they're able to make.
Right. See, this is the level shift that we're trying to create now, which is Africa doesn't need free shit.
Right.
Africa needs jobs.
Exactly.
And that once you get to that difference, to understand why giving out free stuff doesn't work, never did, never will. Yep. That's why the NFL is now a little much more judicious in how they give out these shirts and they go to a partner now. To their credit, they've made changes, but. I want you to talk about the job impact and what that means to the workers in the company and also to their families.
Yeah, I mean, the ripple effect is massive. When you have a job, you have something just positive and constructive to wake up and do every day, right? But when you know that that's consistent, you're able to save, you're able to budget, you're able to send your kids to school, so you're taking care of the next generation as well, right? I think it's like 50% of our employees own land and have built homes. How many people here in New York do you know that own land?
That's less than 50%.
So it's incredible. Like I'm in this last trip, and I didn't even know. You know things are going well when there's good happening that you weren't aware of. So we have our tribe. Shout out to our tribe out there. So our tribe, part of our donated revenue, we have 200 plus tribe members. And they donate every month from $25 a month to $2,000 plus. Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of another automatic revenue stream coming in. We take 1 to 2 tribe teams a year. So we had a tribe team that was there just this past December, and I'm introducing them to all the moms in the factory, and some of the moms are sharing their stories. And this one mom comes up and she's like, because of this job, because I've been employed here with the benefits, and I'll send all my kids to school, I have my oldest daughter has won a scholarship to go to university in London.
Wow.
And I was just like,
change your life.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's next level change. I mean, to get to go to university in Nairobi is still pretty massive. But like what that's that's like massive skip. I mean, most of our moms have never gone beyond a junior high education. So, but they're earning more than 90% in this town. We're the largest employer in a town of 60,000 people. So you're creating this massive ripple of change. And like I equate it to, you take pebbles and you throw it across, into a body of water, and it's like creates these little ripples. What we do is like we paddled out into the middle of the pond, and we took this big old boulder and we just dumped it straight in. And it creates this huge tsunami effect. Because our way of doing, development has always been, instead of a mile wide, inch deep, we're going to go a mile deep and an inch wide. Because true sustainable change is created through committed relationships, over a period of time that you can then scale.
Right.
So eventually we want to go a mile wide and a mile deep. That would be the best, but first you have to, those first few years for entrepreneurs out there, those first few years is just a freaking grind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a great lesson. And so we're giving out one of the bandanas too. Do we pick out, I think there was the Diva, should we do this one or the
What was the one that Esther?
Esther, which one's Esther's? This one?
The orange one?
This one.
So this guy.
That one, there we go. So we picked this one out because Esther's a bit of a diva. And it says that she's divas.
Yeah, so Esther's on here is, I am Esther and we are divas. So you too can be a diva.
This is pretty neat. So check out the website, ubuntumade.com.
ubuntumade.com, and then on Instagram, @ubuntumade.
Awesome. So guys, thanks so much for watching today. Thank you for joining us. It's an amazing segment. We learned so much today. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks again for tuning in.
See you guys.
This is a good